The Arathia Death Arena on planet Zira shimmered beneath the crimson light of twin setting suns. Across the vast Colosseum, representatives from 8 civilizations sat in perfect, tense silence. This was not merely a tournament of strength, but a cultural duel where the very fabric of galactic politics hung in the balance. Colonel Marcus Vale adjusted his stiff diplomatic uniform and frowned at the display screens floating above the central platform. As Terran's foremost diplomat in this sector, he had negotiated 17 treaties and prevented 3 interplanetary wars. But this assignment made his stomach churn. The Elydrans, with their bio-enhanced warriors and superiority complex, had been pushing for dominance in the Galactic Council for decades. This cultural duel was meant to determine whether humanity deserved an equal place at the table. Ambassador Quan's condition has deteriorated, whispered Athena, his AI companion, directly into his neural implant. The Florin virus has spread to his central nervous system. Medical protocol mandates immediate stasis. Marcus suppressed a grimace. Timing couldn't be worse. Indeed, the Elydran delegation appears pleased. Of course they were. Ambassador Quan was the only Terran with combat training who also possessed diplomatic clearance. His absence meant Colonel Vale, called Magistrate Zorix, the Hazari mediator whose translucent skin pulsed with pale blue light. It appears your representative has withdrawn. Does Terra forfeit the honor duel to Elidar? The word forfeit sent a murmur through the assembled dignitaries. Forfeiture wouldn't merely lose this match, it would cement humanity's reputation as the weakest of the 8 civilizations. Terra does not forfeit, Marcus said, his voice projecting confidence he didn't feel. I will stand as representative. The Elydran delegation burst into chattering laughter. Their champion, Liara Voss, stepped forward. Her sleek, muscular frame towered a full head above Marcus. The bio-tattoos spiraling across her azure skin pulsed with golden light, displaying her amusement for all to see. This is who Terra sends. Her voice carried easily across the arena. A diplomatic observer? A weakling male? She turned to her delegation. The rumors were true. These Terran males truly are the inferior sex. Marcus felt heat rise to his face, but kept his expression neutral. He'd spent 15 years perfecting the art of emotionless negotiation. I see no reason to waste my talents, Liara continued, addressing the council directly. Perhaps we should reconsider Terra's position in our alliance altogether. They clearly lack the strength to contribute meaningfully. The terms were agreed upon, Marcus countered. 1 representative from each civilization. Terra names me. Magistrate Zorix nodded slowly. The challenge is accepted. You have 6 hours for preparation. The duel begins at the rising of the 3rd moon. As the delegations dispersed, Marcus felt the weight of billions of human lives on his shoulders. A poor showing here wouldn't just damage his career. It could reshape humanity's role in interstellar politics for generations. Colonel, Athena's voice sounded in his mind. I've analyzed Ambassador Quan's combat training regimen. With your permission, I can override the diplomatic restrictions on your neural interface and upload basic combat protocols. That's against regulations, Marcus muttered, striding down the corridor toward his quarters. So is losing this duel. Sir, the Elydran delegation has already begun spreading rumors about Terra's unsuitability for equal status. Marcus entered his quarters and sealed the door. Do it! Initializing combat training override, Athena confirmed. This may cause temporary discomfort. A second later, Marcus's vision blurred as information cascaded through his neural network. His muscles spasmed involuntarily as the combat protocols integrated with his motor cortex. He sank to his knees, gasping as 15 years of basic combat training compressed into 6 minutes of neural integration. When the process completed, he rose shakily to his feet. His body felt foreign, tense with new muscle memories he'd never actually experienced. "Athena, what are my chances?" "Based on Liara Voss's known combat record and your current capabilities, approximately 8.7%. "Better than I expected," Marcus said grimly. "What do we know about Elydran fighting techniques?" "Their combat style integrates bio-enhancement with traditional martial arts. They utilize pheromone excretion to disorient opponents and bio-tattoos that can briefly generate electrical discharges." "Weaknesses?" "Limited. However," Athena paused. "My analysis of previous matches suggests an over-reliance on intimidation tactics. Elydrans expect enemies to react emotionally to their pheromone projections. So my diplomatic training might actually help." "Precisely. Your neural dampeners designed for maintaining emotional control during negotiations may provide unexpected resistance to their biochemical influence." Marcus nodded and began to prepare. For the next 5 hours, he absorbed everything Athena could provide about Elydran combat techniques, while his body adjusted to the new neural programming. An hour before the duel, he received an unexpected visitor. "Magistrate Zorix." Marcus greeted the mediator with a formal bow. "What brings you here?" The Hazari's skin had shifted to a concerned violet hue. "Colonel Vale, I come unofficially. The Elydran delegation has placed substantial wagers on this match. They intend to humiliate Terra. Gambling on official duels violates protocol." "Yes, but proving it would be difficult. I merely wish to inform you that the stakes have risen. The Galactic Council is watching closely. Many question whether humans truly belong among the 8. After Zorix departed, Marcus closed his eyes. "Athena, upload everything you have on Liara Voss. Personal history, previous duels, psychological profile, everything." "Sir, that level of detail on a foreign diplomat exceeds your clearance." "Override authorization, Vale Gamma 79. "Override accepted, uploading files." As information flooded his mind, Marcus began to see patterns. Liara Voss wasn't merely a champion. She was a statement, the physical embodiment of Elydran superiority. Her undefeated record in 17 duels had cemented their position among the 8. But beneath her confidence lay something else, a desperate need to prove Elydran dominance, especially over species they considered lesser. And they considered humans very lesser indeed. When the third moon rose, Marcus stood in the preparation chamber adjacent to the arena. He wore the traditional Terran diplomatic uniform, a deliberate choice to reinforce his identity as a diplomat first, combatant second. "The neural uploads have stabilized," Athena informed him. "Your muscle response is now 42% above baseline. It won't match Elydran enhancement, but it exceeds normal human parameters." "It'll have to do," Marcus said, rolling his shoulders. The chamber doors slid open, revealing the arena bathed in crimson light. Thousands of delegates from across the galaxy watched from tiered seating. At the center waited Liara Voss, her bio-tattoos now pulsing with aggressive crimson patterns that matched the arena lighting. "Terran," she called as he approached. "You still have time to withdraw. There is no shame in acknowledging natural order. There is no shame in any outcome determined by honest effort," Marcus replied, falling into the opening stance Athena had programmed into his neural network. Liara's tattoos flashed with amusement. "Your stance is adequate, but your form betrays your inexperience. You are no warrior." "Today I am." Magistrate Zorix floated to the center. "The terms are simple. Submission or incapacitation determines the victor. Lethal force is prohibited, but all natural abilities are permitted." He looked between them. "Begin." Liara moved with blinding speed, crossing the arena floor in a blur of motion. Marcus barely managed to dodge her opening strike, a fluid kick that would have connected with his temple. He countered with a basic defensive pattern, keeping his movements minimal and efficient. Her second attack came with a wave of pheromones. Marcus could see the faint mist emanating from her skin. His neural dampeners filtered most of the effect, but he still felt a wave of dizziness. He stumbled slightly, and Liara pressed her advantage, landing a solid blow to his ribs. Pain lanced through his side. Enhanced or not, he was no match for her raw strength. "Is this truly the best Terra can offer?" Liara taunted, circling him predatorily. "You fight like a child." Rather than respond, Marcus focused on observation. Each movement Liara made was accompanied by a specific bio-tattoo pattern. The spiral on her right shoulder brightened before an overhead strike. The coil around her left ankle pulsed before she pivoted. They were tells, unconscious signals telegraphing her intentions. As they continued to exchange blows, Marcus deliberately maintained a defensive posture, absorbing data with each exchange. Liara grew increasingly frustrated with his evasive tactics. "Stand and fight properly, Terran." Her attacks became more aggressive, more patterned. The bio-tattoos flashed with increasing intensity, matching her emotional state. And with each flash, Marcus gained insight into her rhythm. In the observer's gallery, the Elydran delegation had grown quiet. Their champion wasn't achieving the quick victory they'd anticipated. "You're analyzing her patterns," Athena observed through their neural link. "But be careful, she's building towards something. Her bio readings are spiking." Liara suddenly stopped her assault and stepped back. Her tattoos shifted to a deep violet as she regarded Marcus with newfound curiosity. "You're not fighting," she observed. "You're studying. A diplomat's approach." Her eyes narrowed. "But diplomats don't move with combat neural patterning. What are you, Marcus Vale?" "A representative of Terra," he replied simply. "No." She circled him slowly. "There's more. Your movements show training. Yet you have no combat record. Your neural patterns resist my pheromones. Yet you have no biological enhancements." Her voice lowered. "What are Terrans hiding?" The question hung in the air between them, drawing murmurs from the crowd. Marcus recognized the moment for what it was, a shift from physical combat to psychological warfare, a domain where he held the advantage. "We hide nothing," he said. "Humans adapt. It's our defining characteristic." "Adaptation requires time," Liara countered. "This duel was arranged 3 days ago. Perhaps we anticipated your challenge long before it was issued." The suggestion sent a ripple through the Elydran delegation. The idea that humans might have been preparing specifically for them challenged their sense of superiority. Liara's tattoos flashed with anger. "Enough talk!" She launched into a new attack sequence, her movements becoming increasingly elaborate. Marcus recognized she was building toward something, what Athena's data identified as the death spiral, a finishing technique that had ended 11 of her previous duels. As she unleashed the complex series of strikes, Marcus made a crucial decision. Rather than attempting to counter each blow, he focused entirely on reading the pattern's endpoint. When Liara executed the final spinning kick designed to incapacitate, Marcus didn't block or evade. Instead, he stepped into the attack, using her own momentum against her. With a single, precise movement, he caught her extended leg and used her forward momentum to flip her onto the arena floor. Before she could recover, he secured her dominant arm in a joint lock that required minimal strength but maximized leverage. The arena fell silent. For 23 seconds, no one moved. Liara lay immobilized, her bio-tattoos frozen in a pattern of shock and disbelief. Marcus maintained the hold, applying just enough pressure to prevent escape without causing injury. Finally, Magistrate Zorix floated forward. The Elydran champion is immobilized. Does she concede? Liara's tattoos pulsed once, twice, then dimmed to a contemplative blue. I concede the match. Marcus released her immediately and offered his hand. After a moment's hesitation, she took it, allowing him to help her to her feet. The gesture, a human custom of respect, was not lost on the observing delegations. "One movement," she said quietly. "You defeated me with a single counter." "The movement itself wasn't important," Marcus replied. "It was understanding when to use it." As they stood together in the center of the arena, the implications of what had just occurred began to ripple through the assembled dignitaries. A human diplomat had defeated Illidir's greatest warrior, using her own strength against her. The narrative of human weakness had been shattered in a single moment. The Elydran delegation erupted in protest. High Commander Thaxos stormed to the arena floor, his elaborate bio-tattoos flashing with fury. "This is unacceptable," he thundered. "The Terran used unauthorized neural enhancements. This victory must be invalidated." Magistrate Zorix's skin shifted to a judicial orange. The terms stated all natural abilities were permitted. Neural integration is standard for Terran diplomats. "Combat protocols are not diplomatic tools," Thaxos insisted. "And yet," Marcus interjected calmly, "they were employed diplomatically." The wordplay silenced Thaxos momentarily. Marcus continued, addressing the entire assembly. "This duel was never about physical prowess. It was about determining whether humanity deserves equal standing among the 8 civilizations. We demonstrated today not that we are stronger, but that strength alone does not determine worth." Liara, still standing beside him, surprised everyone by speaking next. "The Terran is correct. He did not overpower me. He understood me. Perhaps there is wisdom in their approach that we have overlooked." Her words caused visible distress among her delegation. For an Elydran champion to acknowledge merit in a lesser species methodology was unprecedented. The arena erupted into debate. Some delegations supported the human victory as legitimate. Others aligned with the Elydran protests. The Galactic Council representatives called for an emergency session to determine the implications for interstellar policy. As Marcus prepared to exit the arena, Liara fell into step beside him. "Your technique was flawless," she said. "But it wasn't yours, was it?" Marcus considered his response carefully. "The movement was executed through my body, but informed by collected knowledge. Does that make it less mine?" Interesting question. Her tattoos shifted to a pattern Marcus couldn't interpret. "Among my people, we have something called the Silk Protocol, a form of negotiation conducted through biological interface. It allows for perfect understanding without deception." Sounds invasive. It can be, but it also prevents the misunderstandings that lead to conflict. She studied him. "Would you be willing to learn? It would be unprecedented for a non-Elydran." The offer startled him. "Why would you teach me?" "Because today you proved my assumptions wrong. That rarely happens." Her tattoos pulsed with what might have been amusement. "Consider it a cultural exchange. I learn your diplomatic approaches. You learn our biological ones." Before Marcus could respond, they were interrupted by a summons to the council chamber. The political fallout from the duel had only just begun. The emergency council session lasted 17 hours, during which the future of Terra's position in the Alliance hung in the balance. Marcus found himself defending not just the legitimacy of his victory, but humanity's entire approach to interspecies relations. "The Terran method lacks honor," High Commander Thaxos insisted. "They employ trickery rather than strength." "We employ understanding rather than force," Marcus countered. Is the goal of our alliance dominance or cooperation? The debate fractured the council along philosophical lines. The traditionalists, led by the Elydrans, advocated for a hierarchy based on demonstrated strength. The progressives argued for a cooperative model where diverse strengths complemented one another. To everyone's surprise, Liara Voss requested permission to address the council. "I have faced warriors from 7 civilizations," she began. "I have defeated them all, until today. The Terran did not win through superior strength or speed. He won through observation and adaptation." Her tattoos pulsed with resolved blue light. "These are traits we value in long-term allies." Her statement sent shockwaves through the Elydran delegation. Thaxos attempted to object, but Liara continued. "I propose a new framework for our alliance, not one based on dominance hierarchies, but on partnership protocols. Each civilization contributes its unique strengths, creating a whole greater than its parts." Marcus seized the opportunity. "Terra would welcome such a framework. We offer our diplomatic experience and adaptive capabilities in service to the greater alliance." The council deliberated for another 7 hours before reaching a decision. Terra would maintain its position among the 8 civilizations. Moreover, a new partnership initiative would be established, with Marcus Vale and Liara Voss appointed as its first representatives. As the council adjourned, Marcus found Liara waiting in the corridor outside. "It seems we will be working together," she said, her tattoos displaying a pattern he now recognized as cautious optimism. "So it seems, though I suspect neither of us anticipated this outcome when we entered the arena." The most significant victories often come from unexpected quarters. She extended her hand in the human gesture he had shown her. "To partnership, Colonel Vale." "To partnership," he agreed, taking her hand. The contact sent a small shock through his system, not unpleasant, but startling. He realized she was demonstrating the first principle of the Silk Protocol, the initial biochemical exchange that established baseline communication. "Your first lesson," she explained with what might have been a smile. "We have much to teach each other." In the months that followed, Marcus and Liara became the unlikely face of a diplomatic revolution. They traveled to each of the 8 civilizations, demonstrating the principles of partnership over dominance. Marcus mastered the basics of the Silk Protocol, while Liara studied human negotiation techniques. Their partnership was not without challenges. Conservative factions in both societies viewed their collaboration with suspicion. On Terra, political opponents questioned Marcus's alien sympathies. On Elydr, traditionalists accused Liara of betraying their cultural heritage. Yet the results spoke for themselves. Disputes that had festered for decades found resolution through their combined approach. Trade agreements flourished. Cultural exchanges multiplied. A year after the duel, they found themselves back on Zira, standing in the same arena where their journey had begun. This time, however, they stood together before representatives from all 8 civilizations to demonstrate the principles of the partnership initiative. "The old ways taught us that strength determines worth," Liara addressed the assembly. "But strength takes many forms. The Hezari bring perceptive empathy. The Xyrillians bring technological innovation. The Terrans bring adaptive diplomacy. And the Elydrans," Marcus added, "bring unmatched biological insight and warrior discipline." Together, they demonstrated a series of partnership protocols, physical demonstrations of cooperative problem-solving that combined elements from each civilization. Where once the arena had showcased combat, it now displayed coordination. As they concluded their presentation, Liara initiated the Silk Protocol with Marcus. Their biofeedback created synchronized patterns visible to the entire assembly, a physical manifestation of cross-species harmony. "This is merely the beginning," Marcus told the assembly. Each partnership creates possibilities neither party could achieve alone. The gathering concluded with the formal adoption of the Partnership Charter, a new framework for interstellar cooperation that would guide the 8 civilizations for generations to come. That evening, as they watched Zira's 3 moons rise from the diplomatic compound, Liara's tattoos displayed a pattern Marcus had never seen before. "What does that mean?" he asked, gesturing to the intricate swirls now glowing with soft violet light. "There is no direct translation," she replied. "The closest Terran concept might be possibility." "Appropriate," Marcus said. "We're standing at the beginning of something entirely new." "Indeed." She turned to face him directly. "The Council has requested we continue our work. There are 23 border regions where traditional diplomatic approaches have failed. They believe our partnership methodology might succeed where others have not. It would mean extending our assignment indefinitely. It would." Her tattoos shifted again, revealing something Marcus recognized as uncertainty, an emotion Liara rarely displayed. "Would that be acceptable to you, Marcus Vale?" He considered the question. When he'd stepped into the arena a year ago, he'd been fighting for humanity's place among the stars. Now he found himself working toward something far greater, a fundamental shift in how civilizations interacted. "More than acceptable," he answered. "It would be an honor." Her tattoos brightened with satisfaction. "Then we continue." As they sealed their agreement with the now familiar biochemical handshake, neither could have predicted how far their partnership would extend, or how deeply it would transform galactic society. 23 years later, a sleek interstellar vessel dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of unexplored territory. On its bridge stood Captain Aria Vale Voss, her skin a lighter shade of azure than her Elydran mother's, but adorned with the same bio-tattoos that pulsed with excited golden light. "Uncharted space," she announced to her crew, a diverse collection of individuals from all 8 civilizations, plus 3 more that had joined the Alliance during her lifetime. The first partnership exploration vessel to cross the Celestial Divide. Her first officer, a Terran named Commander Jason Lee, nodded appreciatively. "Your parents would be proud, Captain." Arya smiled, thinking of her father, now Ambassador Marcus Vale, senior representative to the Galactic Council, and her mother, High Commander Liara Voss, leader of the Elydran Defense Force. Their unexpected partnership had blossomed into something neither civilization had anticipated, a lasting bond that produced not only diplomatic revolution, but also the first Terran Elydran child in history. "They taught me that strength comes in many forms," Arya said, her tattoos displaying the same pattern her mother had shown her father on that moonlit night 2 decades earlier. Possibility. "All stations report ready. Captain," announced her Hizari communications officer, skin glowing with anticipation. Arya Vale Voss stood tall on the bridge of the exploration vessel, Partnership Horizon. Before her stretched unknown stars and undiscovered civilizations, potential new partners in the ever-expanding alliance. "Take us forward," she commanded, slowly and with respect. As the ship glided into uncharted territory, Arya reflected that her very existence was proof of what her parents had demonstrated in that arena long ago. That understanding could overcome prejudice, that cooperation could surpass dominance, and that sometimes the most powerful move wasn't a display of strength, but a single gesture of respect. The bio-tattoos along her arms pulsed with determined light as she led humanity and its allies into a future built not on who was strongest, but on who was willing to learn from each other. A future that had begun with a duel, but would continue through discovery. A future born when an alien warrior had mocked all men as weak, until a human beat her in one move. And together, They had changed the galaxy.